Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Bob, Trade Genius. Welcome to my podcast for 6/2022. And the market had a change of character over the last two trading days. Sorry I wasn't available yesterday, family obligations, but let's kind of review. So, this is the ES, which is the SPY mini futures contract daily. And so we hit resistance on the 29th of March based on our range trader algorithm here. And it hit it double topped it, and we started to pull back away, but we are still above the 144, which is right here. And then it kind of touched it, bounced, touched and bounced, and then it broke through on Monday. We had followed through on Tuesday, then it broke through. I'm sorry, on Tuesday. Today it broke through the not only the 144, but it broke through the moving VWAP as well. And so this is pretty bearish. And then we've had a follow through on it starting tonight. This is the E-mini on considered Thursday, anytime the market, even though it's Wednesday night. Now we want to wait and see if we have a pushback higher, maybe back to the 144 and fall, or are we going to make a new highs again? Now, my view is that the Fed has been extremely, extremely vocal today on how aggressive they're going to be at the May meeting, basically saying we're going to take your wealth away from you. So, if you guys have long-term portfolios, you might want to think about trimming in your IRAs or 401ks, or start talking to your financial advisors about making a change to everything. Because in the 70s we had a 47% correction, in 2000 we had a 47% correction, 2008 we had a 47% correction. Okay. And so, and this is coming from a higher base. I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in losing half of my retirement money because the Fed decided they're going to go ahead and destroy the economy because they messed up with inflation here because they can't manage supply chain issues in China, in the ports of California, pandemic lockdowns, basically making a policy mess and then compounding it by punishing us with higher interest rates. Not going to happen for me. I hope it's not going to happen for you, but you need to pay attention. So we have that going on. So we're going to keep an eye on it. And so now you can see our fulcrum flipped here. So trend change, band hit here. So today was a pretty bearish day. We at Trade Unions we were sitting in pretty good shape on this stuff, and we had SARK. I personally had SPY puts, and I had puts on a large cap stock that was called, I'll show you right here, Snowflake. So it dropped quite a bit, 15 points. And so it was a nice trade for us as well. I closed that trade out. I'm looking for it to bounce and then go back at it again. So these are very, very, very risky stocks to own right now because their price to sales do not support an economy that's going into a recession. So one thing that we called out in the chat room, told people that, hey, high risk trade, but you might want to think about taking some puts on some of these high flyers because they're going to get literally eviscerated when this market blows up. So that's what's happening in the ES world. So let's go ahead and zoom on over to looking at oil. Okay, oil got hit pretty hard as well. So now oil is sitting in a really interesting place. So they keep trying to bring it down. It's below its moving VWAP. I think it's still way above its 144. Yeah, which is sitting down here, and it keeps bouncing off this support line right here at around $95. So that's what we got to watch to see if $95 holds. If not, we're going to drop down to about $85. I personally have a lot of energy names. I still think that they're going to have a hard time pushing this down because supply issues are different than the Fed can raise interest rates all they want. But if if there's not enough supply and the demands out there in the world, prices are going to hold. So we'll just have to keep that in mind here as we keep an eye on energy. But if it does break and drops down to here, obviously I'm going to rethink my positioning on some of my energy drillers that I own. But keep an eye on it. Typically now Thursday into Friday you get a bounce. Same with SPY. Yes, we had a down week. Thursday, Friday they tend to bounce it. If they don't, that's pretty bearish for both. So keep an eye on that and be something to watch. Now going into gold, where is my GC? Here we go. Gold was up today, but as you can see here with gold, it's ay, flat as a pancake. Okay, they can't bring it down. They know they desperately want to bring it down, but they can't. But the miners were up today, so well, many of the miners were up today. So I have a position in AEM. And to me, this is knocking on heaven's door here. This was a cup. Here's a handle. It broke through, came back. As long as this holds, this trend line holds here and it breaks up above 63, we're looking at another 5 point move on AEM. Okay, we have GOLD, another one that I hold longer term. It's Barrick Gold, and it did that one. So I hate when it does this on Trading View. Okay, they're both GOLD. That thing's gliding up nicely too. I've owned it now for a little bit. And again, I'm watching to see if it pushes up to 26 area. I may close the position as a trade, or I may just keep it. But it's sitting in my IRA. I like the action. I like this slow grind higher that it's doing. And then the other one that I like a lot is wheat precious metals. Now this is gliding higher, even though interest rates are going up, which is interesting. So usually that gives some pause to the to these royalty companies because they compete against the lower interest rates go, they get borrow less for less money, but now they have to borrow at higher rates and they take in silver, they take in gold, they take in other metals, but they do borrow the money from the banks and collateralize it against the future positioning that they do with these junior miners. So something to keep an eye on. But for overall, they're grinding up nicely and they're holding up well. And so here's some of the drillers. WFRD looks really good. Here's a nice move. I wouldn't necessarily call this a cup, but it made a higher high. Coming back around again, if it touches here and breaks out, you're looking at probably another $4 or $5 move higher. And entered Matador again. I bought this one and it promptly blew up on me, so I had to redo it. So it's MTDR. Okay, again, to me, cup handle. If it, as long as it holds here and breaks higher, if it breaks down, it's dropping down to 44. I'll be closing the trade. But again, I'm looking for it to bounce back up here and continue to move higher. The energy names are not priced in for oil that's been hovering over $100 here for the last month. They're priced in at much lower oil levels, so something to keep an eye on. One thing that has been flying higher is the Mosaic company. However, I think this is topping out. Okay, um, you can only get these fertilizer prices so high before you can shift from buying mines that are dug out versus brined, with evaporation ponds. So there is competition when you get to price levels this high for fertilizer. So I'd be really careful in the fertilizer space. It may keep popping, but we've had one heck of a move here. Check this out on a weekly. Okay, so that's a huge move. Okay, from when you got a weekly buy on it, 37, basically a double. And then from the last time it was down here at 29, and then here we bought it down here. Okay, when it got to 18 bucks, that's when I first made my first purchase of Mosaic. So it's been one hell of a run on Mosaic. Another area that we started playing around with a little bit, they have these two new toys called UVX, UVIX, and SVIX. So UVIX, I'm not going to show you weekly here. I'll take you down to an hourly. Is that this is the double move of volatility. SVX is the one-time move of volatility shorting. So we actually did a couple UVIXs and a couple SVIXs. So so far so good. 3 out of 4 were winners. One I got stopped out and came right back in on it and lowered my stops. Sometimes I move my stops up too fast, end up doing stupid stuff like that. But anyway, I re-entered it and then we got paid on it. And when these things move intraday, they're really fun toys. So we'll be doing more of these kind of trades. Basically looking the 15-minute, you get a trend change here. This was on the 5th of April. This is UVIX. You could have bought it here. They have options now on it. I haven't done any options yet on it. I'm going to probably start here. We'll get a little bit more liquidity. You could have wrote it from here 15.26, and it went up to $18. So we had 2 trades on SVIX that paid, 1 trade on UVXY that paid, UVIX that paid. So anyway, we'll be trading a lot more of this, and so there's a nice way for us to play the short side. And the nice thing about this is that on the UVIX side, there's no contango in it to screw you up. But on the SVIX side, there's no contango, so we might want to go with UVXY. VXX is dead to us. They screwed up that ETF. So that's kind of how you could play it. So there's UVXY if you want to short, or SVIX if you want to short. So either one of them works for you. So that's that. Basically natural gas had uh, an earlier pop here. Yeah, here it is. It likes it when the market is struggling, and also likes the fact that there's no natural gas in Europe. Totally screwed up. The Europeans, I think, are on suicide watch. Every one of their policies is designed to kill their people if they're not careful. So it's going to be really interesting 12 months. And I've always contended that the disaster in the world is going to start in Europe, because Europe has very few natural resources. They they suck resources from everywhere. They act as a mercantilist middleman to China. China is in big time trouble, so they may lose their high end market. At the same time, their imports are coming from the other side of China, other side of Asia, called Russia, and they decide to cut Russia off. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to Europe. But if you're European and listening, my heart goes out to you. You guys, you guys are sitting too fat, dumb, and comfortable with these crazy people you have in charge, and they have no clue how to fix it. It's going to be a nightmare for you guys. We're not in much better shape here, but we're in better shape here because we don't rely on a parliamentary system that basically those guys can just run over every rule that happened with the previous administration. Pray that you guys drift a little center right so you can get rid of some of this garbage that you have to deal with. Anyway, that's pretty much what I want to talk about tonight. I'm still bullish uranium, bullish cobalt, bullish nickel, and so I'm bullish lithium, even though LIC got hit pretty hard today. I'm still in it, and in fact, we just did a swing trade reentry on it. So I hope you guys have a great night. I'll catch you guys. Let's see, tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, I'll catch you guys Thursday night. Have a good one. Bye bye.